and welcome to Don't Feed the Geeks, presented by the Long Island Comic Guys, the masters of the geeky verse. Welcome back, Geek Freaks. I am TC, joined today by JJ.
Hey, guys.
And Toy Story.
What is up, everyone?
All right. What is the topic of our episode again today?
Man, I don't know. I forgot already.
Miscellaneous things.
Miscellaneous.
So I'll just start off by saying, if you're watching the video, that you're not seeing our man TC because he is having technical difficulties.
And so you have to deal with our
faces.
We
just got his voice.
Yeah. No, but for real. So we had a great week, great but busy week this week with AtCon 2 this past weekend, hosted by Elite Comics 11 on Instagram. We went live Sunday for sale, and we shipped out like 75 packages over the course of the last week. So we're a little tired, but we got it all done, and it was a lot of fun.
It was crazy.
It was. So I figured we'd talk a little bit today about that whole experience, and also with this whole COVID thing still going on and the future of conventions in question still, really, where do we go from here, and what is this gonna evolve into, So I figured we'd talk a little bit about that. But first, we should talk a little bit about news, right?
All right, yeah. I think we lost PC. I'm not exactly sure.
Yes, we should talk about news.
All right. So, a couple of things. So I think the biggest one, and I think this is still just a rumor right now, but a lot of people are saying that Michael Keaton is in talks to return to reprise his role as Batman in, I think, a Flashpoint movie, they said, for Warner Brothers. So apparently he's in negotiations or something. I don't know. What have you guys heard about this?
I mean, again, I've heard a lot of speculation that it's probably going to be like a Batman Beyond version where he's like an older Michael Keaton, an older Bruce Wayne, which works because he is an older Michael Keaton.
Yeah.
But it would be cool if they did it where he's kind of like right before like Terry McGinnis kind of takes over, and maybe he wears like a Batman Beyond kind of suit for a little bit.
Honestly, I'd love a Batman Beyond adaptation.
Oh, I mean, they should totally do it.
I don't know why they haven't. Yeah,
if they're going to bring him in,
and, he really fits that image too. Now if you compare him to, like, I can only compare him to the animation because I haven't read any of the comic book, but the animation, I mean, he kind of fits that look, which is kind of cool.
Yeah,
100%.
So I think it works totally. He's the only one that can play that character.
Yeah, if they ever do old Batman, whether it's in Batman Beyond or like The Dark Knight Returns, it's got to be him.
Yeah, it'd be harder to picture him as Dark Knight Returns Batman.
Because he's a little bigger, I think, Dark Knight Returns Batman.
Yeah. Like, I feel like I don't even know who's like somebody. I'd have to think about it to really think like an ideal person, like an older, like brawly guy that I'd like to see.
His chest is just like massive.
Yeah.
Yeah. So we got the rumor of him coming back, and another Batman rumors flying around is that Ben Affleck is going to return to his role as Batman. Not that he really left at this point because he was the last Batman, but apparently he's in talks with HBO Max to return to do something with Batman. So I guess we'll see what happens with that.
Wouldn't it be cool?
Yeah.
Wouldn't it be wild if it was the same thing what Michael Keaton was in? Like, he would be a different version of Batman if they're going to do a Flashpoint at all?
Yeah. I mean, if they did Flashpoint, that would make complete sense. But
it's really confusing with this like other Batman now too. It's just they're just such a shit show.
It's a totally disjointed.
Say it.
It makes no sense. I don't know. We can talk. People talked about this till they're blue in the face, but it really does make sense.
Has anything come out of that other Batman? I haven't heard anything in a while.
I've heard nothing.
I mean, they stopped production since COVID, but
were they in production?
Oh yeah, they were shooting.
Really? Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, I remember seeing pictures of him in the suit and on top of the car and all that crap. I've got no interest in this guy.
There was pictures of the car. There was pictures of him on like a motorcycle.
Mm-hmm. Oh, Robert Pattinson, right? I totally forgot about that.
It's a strange thing.
Yeah, we'll see, I guess. All right, enough about DC. So I also saw this the other day. So Dark Horse Comics, who has been publishing Alien vs. Predator comics for the last 30 years. They've had the license from Fox. This is going to be their last year publishing. So effective, I think, January 1st next year, Disney's going to retain the rights to Alien vs. Predator, which makes sense because they now own Fox. And why wouldn't they publish them on their own imprint, Marvel? But again, it's something that Dark Horse has published for 30 years. So they're losing that.
It's amazing.
I'm curious.
I'm a big fan of. I'm sorry, TC.
No, go ahead.
I said I'm a big fan of the DC, the Dark Horse comics. I mean, when they had Star Wars, I mean, they were hitting it on the nail.
Oh my God, those stories were so
fantastic
good.
Books.
Yeah,
they were really good. And I'm not knocking Marvel. The books are just as good, but I feel that the Dark Horse Star Wars is a lot better than the Marvel stories.
I agree.
And they got out more. Like, it wasn't linear where it was just, one storyline, where we had different comic books going to different parts of the galaxy, new characters and all the other stuff. And, I wish Marvel would have picked up on that and would have continued that, but they didn't. So I'm curious to see what they're going to do. I mean, I think I've read a couple of the Predator books. I think I own a few of them, but not a lot. I don't know.
Dark Horse does a fantastic job with their licensed stuff. They have a ton of licenses. So that's their main thing. And
they have some pretty big hits when I was reading them. With the Hellboy was one, which was great.
Of course.
They also did Mass Effect. I mean, it was the arcade, the video game, which I read those books. I was a big fan of those Mass Effect books. But
they did a lot of
good books.
A lot of video game adaptations too.
Video games and Tomb Raider. I mean, we can't forget.
Yeah,
Tomb Raider.
I remember those.
That was another great one.
Mm-hmm.
So I mean, I hope this doesn't start a downfall for them. Excuse me.
I think they'll be fine. They still have plenty, and there's a lot of people who read all those titles that we just talked about. So I really think they'll be okay. But it is a big thing to lose, Same way it was big when they lost Star Wars, but this isn't quite as big, but still it's a blow for sure.
It's another section out of them, It's like taking a layer off.
And I'm sure they're going to seek out more licenses for new stuff they don't even have yet.
Let's hope so.
Yeah. All right, next we have little Turtles news for you TMNT fans. So Seth Rogen is apparently teaming up with Nickelodeon for, I don't know if it's going to be an in-theater or like a direct-to-TV, but they're doing a TMNT movie. And I don't know which way he's involved, whether it's director or producer or whatever, but he's going to be helming it essentially.
Animation or full action or? Probably
animation, I would assume. I mean, they didn't have much luck when they did that live action one a few years ago.
I heard it was going to try and be a live action one, but again, that was just like hearsay.
Mm-hmm. I mean, if they can make it work for sure, but
I mean, if they can do it and like kind of try and take it seriously, like take the Michael Bay out of it, and try and do a TMNT movie, I think that'd be really cool.
Mm-hmm. And that's the problem. I like the Michael Bay movies, but I think he puts so much into it, like he overdoes it.
It was
he
bloated.
did that I think he did that with the Transformers. I mean, the very first, maybe second one, they were great, but then it just started. He started adding way too much, and it got overwhelming. And I that's what he did with the Turtle movie. I mean, it wasn't the best thing, but I mean, you compare it with the original ones where they were, these guys in suits and everything like that, and it wasn't all CG.
Yeah.
He overdid it, and I think they need to step it back a little bit and go with the roots of it, and just do what Star Wars did and go back to they went back to their roots with these last ones where they used animation, they use puppetry and actual vehicles and everything else like that. Just to step it back.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think they can't rely on that for like storytelling, because I think especially the very first Turtle movie, it was actually a really well done story, and and
it was fun to watch.
Yeah,
and it was fun to watch.
Yeah, they just need to find like that right balance of like storytelling and special effects.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
Which is
cool.
Yeah, we'll see what happens with that. All right, and lastly, which I can't speak too much about because I didn't watch the show, but apparently the showrunner for The Boys has confirmed that Jeffrey Dean Morgan is going to be involved in season 3 in some way.
Yeah. So, wait, you didn't watch it?
No.
Really?
You're seriously missing out.
Oh.
Do you have Amazon?
Yeah.
Oh, you should definitely watch that.
Matt. It's really good, but
Yeah.
it's really good.
I'll get to it at some point.
Yeah, it's actually better than probably the shows that are on DC. I mean, it's
Oh,
really
I have
good.
no doubt about that. But
It's shockingly, because I knew nothing about that story, but I want to read the books because of the show.
you haven't read them
it's
yet?
really good. I have not read them yet.
Yeah, the comics are blowing up.
Yeah, that's what I heard. Oh, you got to watch that, man.
Yeah, maybe. We'll see.
I would definitely
Before
watch
season
it.
2
Really
comes
good.
out.
Is season 2 not out yet?
No.
Okay.
Not yet.
When's that coming?
The fall.
Okay. I mean, freaking Jeffrey Dean Morgan's amazing in everything he does. So.
Yeah, I mean, I'm assuming he's still doing The Walking Dead, so I mean, he's going to be going back and forth to that.
Despised Walking Dead by the time he got there, but I still watched that episode where he came in, and it was incredible, absolutely incredible.
Yeah,
I think he's a little overrated.
That role perfectly.
Overrated, really?
Yeah, a little bit. Like people make such a big deal. I think he's okay. I don't think
he was perfect in that role in Walking Dead. Did you see that, Jim, when he came in to Walking Dead?
I did. Yeah, it was fantastic.
I don't know if you read the issue in the comic when he came in, but so obviously for TV they couldn't put any F-bombs, so they did like a PG-13 version of his speech, but they also recorded that entire scene using the exact dialogue from the comic with every F-bomb, and they released it like online.
Really?
It's really cool. Yeah, I'll send it to you.
I'll have to check that out.
Yeah.
I'll have to check that out.
Yeah.
So we have no word of what role he's playing in The Boys?
No, nothing yet.
No, I think they're
not that I know the characters.
It sounded like they were almost trying to like develop a role just for him.
Okay.
So it might be like a character that hasn't been in like the comics or something.
Cool.
I remember him as the Irish dude in P.S. I Love You.
I didn't see that one.
I have no idea.
It's funny. He's been in a lot of comic book properties, though. The Losers, The Boy. This will be another one. The Boys, Batman. What's the Watchmen?
Watchmen, yeah.
I mean,
he was great in Watchmen.
Yeah. And again, he was like in it for 5 minutes. That's something where I was like, he was okay. He's still a little overrated.
That's fair.
But I mean, I do like him. I don't want to seem that I dislike him. But
yeah,
I think people make a big deal about him than it needs to be. Oh, Walking Dead's also a comic book, so
it is. Yeah, you're right. All right, that's all we got for today. I think, right?
Cool. Yeah.
Nice. So, shall we talk about our past week a little bit?
Why not? It was pretty.
Yes.
It was pretty ambitious of us to take that. To do this, and it worked flawlessly. So how do you want to start this out?
So I'll describe a little bit for people who might not know. So Elite Comics 11 and Ollie over there and his team. So back in, I think it was February was the first one, right? At Con. So he did this. His idea was a virtual comic convention. And the first at Con was, I think, over a Saturday and Sunday in February. And he had panels and stuff and crazy deals on books, but no live sales because no one was doing live sales yet. And then with the whole Remedy tour with COVID and he started doing all these live sales, he decided at Con 2, that's going to be live sales across 4 days and all these different vendors. And almost every hour of every day, you could hop onto their live stream and find books for sale and find people selling books. So I thought it went fantastic. I mean, it's something that's never been done before. And I think they did an incredible job.
It was pretty impressive for this magnitude for somebody to set this up on an Instagram or a social media platform.
Yeah.
As far as I know, it's never been done. Even back when he did it the first time, it was never done. But to this magnitude, it's absolutely amazing.
Yeah.
That he pulled this off.
I know. And
even more impressive when you realize it's not like a private company who did that. It was like a group, kind of like a team of people.
Just a couple of guys who love comic books.
Yeah.
But
and it's not his main job, and it's not his day job. This is something he does off to the side, and to pull this off over 4 days to gather up vendors and artists and panels and all this, it's what a feat. It's amazing. I'd love to have.
It felt like a convention.
Felt like a
really
convention.
did. Yeah. I don't know if you guys. So right after our sale on Sunday, he did the Kevin Eastman interview. So we obviously didn't watch it live because we were packing. But that night I went home and watched it, and it was like you're sitting in an auditorium and watching an interview on a stage. It was so cool to see. And I don't know why no one's ever thought to do this kind of thing before.
It's great.
Yeah.
Okay. So
You
what
guys said
Kevin,
it perfectly. I didn't have anything to add.
So besides Kevin Eastman, he also had
yeah, Neil Adams, obviously huge. I think he's had Neil Adams a bunch before. I think he was taking commissions and stuff, which is really cool to do through Instagram. But he also had Matt Nelson from head grader at CGC, who's like a restoration and experts, and they talked like everything CGC. So he's getting some big names for these kind of things.
And he had some pretty, he had quite a few vendors, which we were, part of that.
Yeah, all our West Coast buddies.
Wada Games too was there, right?
Yes, they were. Wada Games, the grading company for video games.
Oh, that's right. Yeah. Yeah, so I mean, we went on the last day towards. We were actually in the morning time, which was nice for the.
Yeah.
Ali is based, Elite Comic 11. They're based on the West Coast, so it was, the time difference was early for them. So we got a lot of the West Coast people that bought from us, which was.
I'm not gonna lie, I thought everybody would be out of money by Sunday, but we got a lot of good sales.
Really not.
No, it went well. I mean, I think we could have released on 2 more hours, and I would have been curious to see what would have happened with that. But,
yeah, for sure.
I'd say at least another hour. I think we would have decimated everything we've had. I think if we went another hour, I think another hour would have been enough.
Good. I have 2 more boxes that didn't even get shown. So anybody who was watching, just keep that in mind for the next one.
Yeah, for real.
Yeah. We got to replenish some stock, but it was really cool. It was cool to be part of it. And, it's a cool, I don't know, it was a teaching moment because, we had to, we learned, we had to be up in front of this thing. We had 3 hours.
And it was our stuff
live on the show. It was our stuff. And then we had to, after it was all said and done, that right after he's like, you know what, we might as well invoice all this tonight and we might as well all pack it up tonight. We did that. I don't know, what time did we leave your house? Midnight?
Yeah.
About 11:30, I think.
We finished at 5 and we were like, let's get this done. Let's do this. Everybody was DMing us back like, wow, that's the fastest invoice I've ever received.
Yeah.
Well, listen,
and
go ahead.
No, go ahead, bud.
No, I was just gonna say is like, we're not like a shop. This is also, not to toot our own horns. This is also our side gig too. So, we're doing this, on our, whatever free time we have. So, we decided that, we're just gonna do it exactly like you said, just sit down. And we had a lot of people helping us. We did cheat a little bit because we've done a few of these before with with Kyle, and Best Comics have done a few. So we kind of figured out a science to doing it. Everyone plays their role. And then, we had my significant other. She was helping with some data capturing on spreadsheets. So
that was such a big help.
Yeah, it was.
Yeah.
It was. We kind of broke it down to a science, and I think maybe we can make it even better next time.
I think if we didn't do the Kyle or the other ones, like it would have been a lot harder.
Oh yeah.
Especially the after part of it, because it was figuring out how to how are we going to ship all this crap? Like I think that was my more
you can't go in blind. You got to know how you're going to log everything, how you're going to sort everything, how you're going to ship everything.
And to see how people did theirs, and then we as a group, as a team, we took how things were being set up on racks, we made it our own. How we did our version of it.
The best of what we've seen for the last 3 months on these sales.
And I tell you what, we rock that. I'm going to toot our own horn. Like our flow was fantastic.
We got through a lot of stuff in 3 hours, and it was clear, I thought, what we were going through.
Yeah, and we didn't focus on one setting. Like we did, a row or two of silver, then we went over to graded, then we went to modern, then back to silver. So, we weren't going to have, the way I looked at it is we weren't going to have somebody wait an hour or two just to get to the CGC stuff or the graded stuff. Like get a little piece of everything, keep everybody engaged so that, they're going to sit through the whole thing. And maybe they're going to find something if they were looking for a Silver Age, but then, 2 seconds later, we're on the modern section. They see something, they may want to buy it
Exactly.
instead of waiting all that stuff. So it was a perfect, flow that we came up with. And, I'm going to we got to commend ourselves on that because it was fantastic.
Yeah, I mean, even Ali was saying that a lot of people were, complimenting us on like the pacing and like mixing it up. I think, like you guys were saying, we kind of took the best, like what we really liked about what all these different people were doing. Since we've watched so many of these too.
We're experts on this just from watching all these sales.
Yeah,
watching, right?
I watched
and buying.
the first few Remedy tours. I watched every hour of it, and I'm pretty sure most of you guys did too.
Mm-hmm.
And it's just, really picking up what it was. And then that was the thing where I think that we kind of took our own spin on it was that like going from rack to rack to kind of like mix it up though. Cause when I was thinking about it, I was like, there's from watching these and doing these like, oh, like, all right, we're going to go through this rack of silver. But so then you're waiting a whole rack of silver before you get into like graded books or like modern books, which there's like some people are only into one of those. So,
right.
It really was, I think we were able to innovate at least in that aspect of it.
Yeah.
And I think that the other big help was doing the preview the day or two before. Like I didn't see too many other people doing the previews. I mean, I know Kyle did it, but I think that helped out too. Cause I didn't see too much, but I think that helped out too because it got people to look and like, all right, I know what I'm going to get. I'm going to focus on this, but they didn't have to wait the whole time.
Yeah.
And that's the problem too. When you watch enough of these things and being a buyer, you're seeing how these other companies are doing it. And I'm wondering, did we lose out because people realize, when they saw the silver rack, like we have to get through a whole row of silver first. Like they didn't know our flow at the very beginning.
Mm-hmm.
And maybe that's something we need to broadcast out first, like, how we're going to do things.
Like our plan, we'll let them know.
Yeah.
I think it was clear kind of like from at least the people who watched that, like how we would do it. And I think there was definitely takeaways of things we can maybe improve upon for next time. But I think there's also, I think we kind of set a precedent on, a real like ways to do it too.
Yeah.
Yeah. It was really cool. I mean, so
there's always always more like clarification. It's hard because again, it is like, on a social media site. And even if you do a post explaining exactly what's going to happen, there's no guarantee that everyone's going to see that post either.
Yeah, exactly.
So it's always like, the biggest problem is that we were trying to get through so much in a short period of time. So we were rushing a little. I mean, like, I think by the time we made it to the bottom rack of the silver, I had pretty much lost my voice from speaking so quickly.
I'm shocked we got through everything. Honestly.
Yeah, that was my thing too. I wanted to make sure we got through everything. At one point, I probably did speed it up a little too much at points, but I wanted to, I wanted all the stuff to get showcased, and anything that people saw, I wanted them to have the opportunity to claim it.
Yeah.
And
towards the end there, I was getting a little nervous, especially on the modern rack, that we didn't. That last row, we really flew by that last row. I don't think people really got to see it.
No,
like
there was definitely plenty of stuff that didn't get like their, proper due. And then next time, I definitely want to do another one of these again. I think you guys do too.
Oh yeah.
And we'll figure out how we're going to do that and when we're going to do that at a later time. But we'll take our time, and that's another thing, we can explain it. We want to definitely thank everybody who bought and even watched. It was a really great success, at least in our eyes.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I think at one point I saw 135 people watching, which was
crazy.
In my mind that's impressive. I mean, we had 135 people watching our thing, and at the end when we tallied everything up with the amount of people that bought stuff from us, I mean, it was impressive for our first real.
Definitely did better than I expected for 3 hours.
Yeah. No, it was. Go ahead.
No. Finish your question because I want to move on to something here.
No, go ahead. I'm good.
So this begs the question. So seeing now, we're starting to open up stuff. I'm gonna make the comic book conventions are shot for this year. Like there's nothing going on.
100%.
So hopefully we'll start up next year. But how is this going to impact doing something like this to, going to going to comic books, conventions now? Like, I see this being the new norm, doing something like this. And I've seen enough of these things also on Facebook. There's a lot of Facebook groups and Facebook, pages that do this just exclusively on Facebook. But where do we think that this is going to go?
I'll be honest with you. I think until there's a vaccine, we're not going to see a comic book convention. That's my thing. You're not going to see real sports. Like, the world isn't going to turn back to normal until there's some type of vaccine. I don't know when that's going to be. I don't think it's going to be until probably summer of next year, my personal opinion.
Yeah.
But I think, this is definitely going to hold it up. I think once, comic conventions and stuff do come back, I think, there's going to be the people who want to go back. So, I mean, I'm still going to go to comic book conventions. I can't wait to do them.
Yeah.
I mean, there's different – it's a type of environment.
You get different things out of each one. This kind of stuff, it's awesome because you're in the comfort of your own home. It's easy to do. You don't have to buy tickets. You don't have to lug over there. You don't have to be around a whole bunch of people if you don't want to. But conversely, going to New York Comic Con, going to Terrificon, going to any of these shows, you hang out with your buddies, you talk to people, you network in person, and it's a day or a weekend out. It's totally different, I think. But
I totally think there's going to be a place for the comic book convention when this comes back. I just think this is another great avenue that, people have now for comic book purchases, though.
Mm-hmm.
Agreed.
It's amazing, like, the kind of thing that comes out of necessity,
Listen, that's, this country and, the world. So that stuff's always happened. We always adapt and do what we have to do.
Yeah. Because I was thinking, like, why has no one done anything like this before? Well, because it was never needed and nobody ever thought, this would be a good idea.
I usually know the quote, but it's escaping me right now about necessity, and I can't remember it off the top of my head.
No, I know what you mean, though.
Yeah. But yeah, no, it's
quote from like Jurassic Park, where life finds a way. Like,
no, it's something
it's
about
find
necessity.
A way.
No.
Oh, all right.
So, I mean, what else can we talk about with this? Like, just how this kind of stuff has driven the market too in the last couple of months.
So that's something, and I think we've mentioned it a couple times, and I've said this is when this first happened, I expected the comic book market to tank.
Yeah.
And I think, I'm not saying it's solely because of this, but I mean, I think it's a big factor that all these live sales, I mean, the comic book, at least the market for older books and, key books is booming. I can't speak to weeklies because I know they've just kind of come back, but I mean, it's been amazing to me. Not only has stuff remained strong, it's gone up in value.
Yeah, it's crazy. This. And I've just seen so much more activity on Instagram
because
with this stuff.
Yeah,
because Elite Comics was around before this. There were comic book accounts and comic book selling accounts around before this, but it's just 10 times as popular now. I feel like
100%,
right?
100%, yeah.
Well, because everybody's jumping on the bandwagon. Yeah.
And everybody's realizing, I don't have to just go to eBay for this stuff. I could get this stuff elsewhere through people who are reputable, through people who have, references and, good, what's the word?
Reputations?
Good reputations and are trustworthy,
I mean, listen, I have to give credit to Elite too. Is the reason that we had that group of following, the 135 people is because, we were doing that through their stream. They've built up a reputation and, they, Ali and, his team has gotten to know us and know that, we're reputable people. So they've kind of given us a stamp of approval. Mm-hmm. So now, I've just from, doing that sale, I've seen our following grow and more people are interested in buying comic books from us. So, I mean, it's really helped our brand as well. And, the thing I was thinking about this too, you have to remember, we're kind of in an area of the world where, comic book conventions and stuff like that, they're very close to us. I mean, we're situated in Long Island.
Take the train to New York Comic Con.
Yeah,
most
Queens,
people fly.
Yeah, but besides even New York Comic Con, I mean, how many, conventions are going on around us in any given weekend that are no more than an hour away? Even stuff in New Jersey is like maybe an hour drive or less for us. There's parts
or
of the
Connecticut
world,
or Rhode Island or Baltimore. We're in an area you can hit anything.
Yeah, so you got to remember this place is like all around the world. I mean, where people now have like a place to buy, and that's why I think these are so strong is because even like the international sales, like there's a lot of Canada, there's a lot of United Kingdom and Europe. People are buying because there's not really another place for them to get these books except for one big convention where you're seeing the same vendor over and over. Mm-hmm. You're seeing like the pool of people who have.
They're probably seeing the same stuff over and over too. So
even to us to a certain degree.
I've seen stuff I've never seen on these sales. And I thought I've seen everything.
We've never seen a lot of the stuff that's very heavy in the West Coast or the middle of the country. It's been really great, and we've met, again, like I've said this before, we've met a lot of great people from being involved with this. Ali's network has kind of become our network. Where we've become close with the We Can Be Heroes crew and Minor Keys and a lot of other Bucky's part of We Can Be Heroes.
Well, yeah.
But it's been really great, and I've it's kind of a silver lining of this whole crisis or pandemic.
It is, yeah.
You want to call it.
Yeah, I don't know what I would have done if I didn't have these sales to go through.
Yeah, I mean, I would have probably had all my comic books organized by now. But
honestly, though, when he first did the one with Royal, and I saw it, I was like, oh, I'm sure to do this, and I was watching stuff go, and I was like, this is gonna do something. This is gonna become a thing, I think.
Oh, 100%. I was getting ready to tell Mike, from Royal, I was like, you got to do this again next weekend. I was like,
yeah.
And I signed on to that, and I was like, I was just buying as much as possible because I personally wanted to make sure Royal was okay. Mm. And then meanwhile, like people were like, getting
to fight people for stuff
before I could. I was like, wow. I was like, this is great. And that's another thing about this too is like, it's making the seller strong too because there's multiple people interested in stuff. You don't have to slash prices dramatically to where you're selling something for less than you bought it for.
Yeah.
So it's really good for the market and the collectors.
And I find it absolutely amazing. And listen, you're going to call me like, what the hell's wrong with you? But like, Amazing Spider-Man, like they fly off the shelves.
They do.
Like I was shocked. Like we had, I don't know, how many rows did we have of Amazing Spider-Man? And
we must have had 30 books. I think there were like 4 left, right?
We had like
and
2
they were
and a
wiped
quarter
out.
Yeah.
Rows of
like it. I didn't realize. I didn't realize. I know you and Matt. TC and Matt. I know you guys are big Spider-Man fans, and you both are running on full runs, and it confirms like there are many other people out there doing the same exact thing, and it's absolutely amazing to see that.
I feel like if out of any run that people are trying to put together, Spider-Man has to be the most popular one that people are trying to put a run up together.
Confirm, yes.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
I mean, the other books that I saw a lot move up too, like there was a lot of the X-Men books that moved also, but I don't think anything really compares to Spider-Man. I mean, and on top of that too,
Aquaman is close.
And Wolverine are the most popular characters.
I think that's second on Aquaman. Aquaman is second on the most popular run.
You keep cutting out. I can't understand the name of that character.
No, but like you always say, Tess, that him and Wolverine are their most popular characters. Everybody's.
I mean, it is, and just look at how much of the Wolverine stuff moves. Yeah. And I would even throw a third character, but it's almost related to Spider-Man, is Venom. Anything Venom is very popular too.
Yeah,
I mean,
sure.
Another thing that I noticed that was really popular, everyone loves that Thor run, anything related to gore. But the reason that's popular is because it's in some way related to Venom.
Yeah.
Because it's like the symbiote god or whatever. But
yeah.
It's really crazy. I mean, I think anything Carnage or Venom related we sold. Mm-hmm. We sold pretty much all the X-Men, the X-Men and Spider-Man stuff. I mean, your Spider-Man stuff too was all like really high grade. I mean, there weren't not a lot of major keys, but you're talking like very fine plus and above.
And those are my those were after I upgraded.
Yeah, I know.
So if I'm upgrading a 9.4, that's what the hell do I have now?
Yeah, no,
it was and somebody like me who I don't read a lot of these other books, and I'm not, I don't read a lot of the older ones. I see what is popular and what's important.
Mm-hmm.
So I know now what to look for. Because
that was a good learning experience too, because you don't know. But on that,
dude, same for me with the modern stuff and the variants, you know.
But on that same point, though, what's necessarily popular the last time might not be the same thing that's popular the next time. So it's always like,
right.
And even when we would go to these conventions, I mean, you know, you would hear like all the people we know who are like vendors or comic book owners is, you know, they try to bring everything because you never know what people are looking for, really. Because it could change area. From, you know, month to month, year to year, week to week. I mean, consistent stuff like SpiderMan and stuff like that. But then, you know, when it comes to the other stuff, it's really interesting. I mean, we're like, I feel like we're very heavy on. We have a lot of silver and bronze Marvel stuff, but I feel like my DC stuff isn't nearly up to par compared to that other stuff. And I think any good DC stuff I had, silver and bronze, all sold. So I
have like no DC stuff. I have a couple keys.
I already started replenishing from yesterday with some nice pickups I had from our buddies at Best Comics.
Yeah.
And Baby Yoda.
Of course. So
Did you get a Baby Yoda?
I did.
You did.
I gave it to Noah.
Nice.
So what surprised you in the last couple of months and seeing all this stuff and seeing this past weekend? What surprised you guys the most in terms of popularity?
Well, I just said it, the SpiderMan.
That actually surprised you?
Like, no. Well, listen, I know he's a popular character. I know a lot of people love him, but I'm surprised at the amount of people that are fighting. I'm going to say fighting over the books to get them. Like, you know, especially the early stuff like that. That was impressive.
Yeah,
to me.
I mean, we had
it's one thing. It's one thing to see like you. Yeah, it's you know, it's one thing to watch you two like buy these books and go back and forth on who's got a better one and all that, but then it's another thing where you see people, you know, trying to get these books, like claiming these books, and not just one or two. Like there was a bunch of people trying to claim these books, and or people requesting, hey, do you have ASM? You know, that's a surprise to me. It is a surprise and it's not a surprise. Like it's a weird, you know, double. I guess it's a, you know, a weird side of it. I don't know, but that. Yeah,
I for sure, because I've like for the last couple of years, I thought that the variant market was kind of not tanking, but fluttering off a little bit. Do you know what I mean? And I've been really surprised at how many variants have sold at these things. Honestly,
I don't think it's tanking. The funny thing is
not the right word.
I think it's not as strong as it was at its peak, but it's still very strong. And I think you have like the buyers for that, and it's weird, I think are not the same buyers for the silver and bronze age stuff. I mean, there's
different people.
You know, you've seen like the graph of like the circle where it's like silver and bronze, and then, you know, and then the moderns, and then like they intersect a little bit. I'm sure there's certain, like, you know, a small group of people in that intersect part.
Yeah.
But it's, you know, it's two different groups of people who are interested in it.
Yep.
And I do think the older stuff is the things that people are most interested in, but there's still, listen, if I'm going to spend $300 on something, I'd prefer it to be a Silver Age key appearance, but some people want a super rare variant and they think that's a better way to spend their money. Do I tend to agree? And do I tend to think that that's going to hold its value over time? I don't, but I could be wrong. I mean, look at, you know, for example, this Miles Morales, you know, Ultimate Fallout variant. I mean, I don't know how much it was when it came out. It was probably like maybe $100 or more, but now it's like a $3,000 plus book.
Yeah.
Maybe even more than that. I could be way off.
Yeah, it's crazy.
And I think it depends upon. I think it depends upon the variant also, because I mean, you know, there are some that are outselling other ones. I mean, especially when they're, you know, when they're multiple variant covers. You know, I had a book out there that one of the books, Something's Killing Our Children. Like I had the regular version, then I had the variant.
Did they both go?
Nobody wanted the variant. You know, they bought the regular version. And, you know, what's weird is the regular version was more money than the variant. So I think just, it all depends upon what the variant looks like, who did it, and
it's a lot,
you know, the popularity of it.
That, yeah.
Yeah, that's very hot and cold, and that's the other thing about it. It's a very hot and cold, and you can never predict. Like it's almost you have to buy every variant and hope that one of them are gonna really take off. But it's hard to really predict. That's something where, and we've said this a lot, in the variant market, you can't try to play the numbers on that. That's something you really have to buy what you like, because there's really no way to determine what's gonna like really take off.
Hey, speaking of, someone got your "Something Is Killing the Children" book. So they just posted.
No, there it is.
All right, cool. We got to put that in our story.
Yeah, we will.
That's fun.
I was surprised that more of the signature books didn't move.
Yeah, you know what? I guess that I wasn't really overly surprised by anything.
I thought those were more popular. I don't know.
I think they are, but for some reason I've noticed on these that the signature and the graded stuff outside like a major key doesn't move as well as the raw books. The raw books are really what people want, because the problem is you can't really negotiate, or the deals. There's not really a lot. If people are trying to like make money on these, there's really not a lot on the back end on
slabs
on a graded book. Yeah,
because you're buying those for your collection. If you're buying those,
exactly. Yeah, because a lot of these people, I'm sure they're dealers or whatever, or maybe comic book shop owners themselves. I mean, I'm sure there's a decent amount.
Yeah, which is fine. We do the same thing,
too. Yeah, I mean, and it is what it is. So I do understand why some of those don't move as well. And listen, like, I'm willing to negotiate, but I'm also not going to, take, half of what something's worth so you can sell it for the price I had.
Yeah.
Because, you could.
Right.
But, it's a fine line between being reasonable and, still trying to make the right profit on stuff.
Mm-hmm.
But I do agree with you that I'm a little surprised that a little more of those didn't go.
You had a lot of those, right? The sign books?
I did. Mm-hmm. I did. But so, some of them went, some of them didn't. It's, there was some that were surprised.
They might all go at the next one. You never know.
And that was the thing I was saying. Like, if you find like the one right person who's into that stuff, or the, two. Yeah. I mean, again, like you're thinking it's 130 people, but I mean, with the comic book industry, so many people are into the same thing.
Yeah.
You might have needed just that 136th person who might have been into that.
Yeah. Like I remember at so I don't know if you guys remember at Kyle's, he had those Watchmen Jim Lee variants, like a set of 8 of them or something.
Oh yeah.
They were expensive. Yeah. He's had those for like 2 years that I've taken to shows with him, like at Clifton and whatever, and he hasn't sold them. And on the Remedy tour, one guy bought them all from him. It's crazy.
We were there.
You just got to find the right person.
That was
except for the one that he already had.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. But that's another thing for these. So you're reaching out to people, anywhere in the country, anywhere in Canada, or really anywhere in the world, going to these shows, especially, Kyle's going to the Clifton show for 2 years trying to sell that book. The people that go to that show, they may already have that book. And it's the same people usually going to that show all the time anyway.
Yep.
So, with this, you're reaching a totally different demographic of people from all over the world. So somebody's going to need that book or want that book.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, so, and that's a great point about like being regional, because I know another thing, well, at least that Kyle had, were all those Spawn books from New York Comic Con, like the gold label and like the silver. Like those were all stuff that people who really wanted it from New York probably went out and got it already. So like the people who were going to want it are people who weren't from this area or weren't at New York Comic Con. So that's really who it's going to be appealing to. And, Kyle, being in this market, you're going to see the same people who already had access to that.
Yeah.
And that's just the same thing with us. Me, I was, I'm looking out for some books from the San Diego Comic Con, years ago. And, we don't go to that show. So,
it's tough to get.
Those are books that I'm looking for.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's interesting. It's an interesting reach that this is giving sellers.
Yeah, it's like, I mean, that's why everybody's always flocked to eBay because of that reach it has. But the drawback's always been those fees, and all the headaches involved with eBay. So this is like a really good, compromise with that. Like you're getting this awesome reach without that.
And I think the good thing,
and that begs, I'm sorry, and that begs another question is, how much? I know it's probably not taking a lot out of eBay right now, but what could this take away from eBay?
I mean, I'm sure there's a lot of sales that are, being. I'm sure there's sales that are being taken from eBay because people are buying them, through Instagram or whatever. This community is big on Instagram.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I mean, that's the thing too. Like once people know you're trustworthy and you're a verified seller or whatever, term you want to tag to it, then you're kind of golden. Because then in the beginning, it's great for someone who's trying to sell it, but when you're buying it, it's kind of, buyer beware a little bit, unless you're, like a known entity or, an approved entity. And, the fact that we've kind of done, I think, this remedy to, I'm sorry, not this ACCON really kind of gives us the legitimacy that, I think we've earned ourselves, but people now kind of know that we deserve it.
Well said.
Yeah.
I know. Thank you. No, but I mean, it was great. I really do appreciate everyone who's bought to us. I don't know if he's a listener, probably not, but Kate Kinzer, a huge shout out for being our top spender. You got that awesome Batman page, and don't worry,
nice
next
book
time,
too.
Yeah, we're gonna have a nice a giveaway for the top spender next time, and we did decide to give away the Long Island exclusive Venom cards to all our buyers. So
people like them. I've heard that they were, the people
did you respond to that message, by the way?
I did not. I have to respond
cool.
to them how much it is, but I'm going to do it later. I wanted to give us a little time.
Okay, cool.
Yep, I got it. But we do have some left.
Yeah.
If anybody's interested.
Yeah, they're really
cool.
cool.
We do have a few left.
They're very cool.
Maybe we need to somehow replenish. We need to somehow replenish something. Maybe get something new.
Yeah. Maybe like flyers for the podcast.
Yeah, we should do that too.
Yeah, maybe. Yeah, we should do that too.
So, I mean, so once cons start up again, do you think you guys are going to want a vendor at those again?
I would like to. So again, and I think I've kind of told you guys this separately. I mean, we're basically just having a conversation now. This is basically just at this point a Long Island Comic Guys / Don't Feed the Geeks quarterly meeting.
Yeah, exactly.
But I think part of that is that you get to really put your face out there. I mean, we've done a couple of videos and people have seen who we are, but you can't that physical interaction. I really don't think can be matched, electronically. So that's why, again, do I want to spend $10,000 on a booth for New York Comic Con? Probably not. But I would like to do the local shows and kind of continue to support, I guess, the local scene.
Again, it's meeting the people too. That's really cool.
And I mean, I 100% want to, continue to go to cons and, maybe, go to some areas where we've made new friends in and, check those out.
Yeah.
Hell, we'll do 3 long boxes and drive there.
Exactly.
We'll vendor in California.
Yeah, we got to meet up with Weekend Beers for a couple beers. Yeah.
There you go. And the other thing with that though too is, comparing doing shows to doing, an Instagram show, we can show more at a show. Like we can bring the 50,000 boxes we have and everything else we have. We're only limited to the amount of time that we've got.
I just realized too why I think people are buying more. When you go to a show and you go to a vendor, do you look through literally everything that the vendor has? No. Right? No. You eyeball the wall a little bit. You see if there's something. If not, you kind of move on. Yep. But on Instagram, they're forced to see everything that you have. So they might see stuff that they never would have seen at a show because they didn't pick through the box,
Right. And again, too, when you're doing that, you're looking for a specific book. Yeah. So even we'll see stuff on the wall, we might not necessarily know what the price is. If we with that, you're seeing the price for everything. So it might not be something you're looking for, but oh wow, that's actually a great deal on that. I'm gonna buy that, and maybe in a couple months I'll sell it. But
yeah.
That's
you know me. I rarely buy stuff at shows that I'm not already looking for. I bought so much on these Instagram sales that I never had intended to buy,
dude,
or never even collected. I bought the first appearance of Rocketeer. Why did I need that? I've never looked for that ever.
I mean, it's been for me. It's been 100% a combination of stuff I'm trying to invest in for the future and stuff for my own collection. I mean, it's definitely been a good balance of both, and I feel like, this is a great place for people. I mean, you can't really buy collections now either. I mean, you can a little bit, but I mean, I'm sure a lot of people out there are weary or wary of, strangers coming to their house, like looking through comic books. So,
Yeah.
I mean, this is a good place to kind of replenish, your stock of, comics. And I think I probably need to get rid of a lot more before I do more serious replenishing, but
yeah.
Cool.
All right, good. Yeah. That's a good combo, guys.
So what are we looking at on time here? We good?
Yeah, we're good. I mean, we should wrap it up soon.
Cool.
Okay. Are we gonna end it with anything? Or nah.
I don't know. Have you guys picked up anything good recently? I mean, we've sold a lot, but in terms of pickups,
we sold a lot. I mean, I just finally, but it was my first buy in a comic book shop this past week. So I mean,
talk a little bit about that.
So I bought it was just, normally my shop is in New York City on my job, and I haven't been by there in 3 months. So, Trader. So yeah, I walked into my local shop, where I live here, and picked up a couple books, not knowing that one of the books there was 2 before it, so I have to figure that out. But I bought the new Negan book.
You got the gold variant, right?
I got the gold variant.
Nice.
I was a little hesitant about buying it, but my wife, she was like, "You got to get it. You got to support these guys. If it's one, the gold foil, it's one per shop."
And that's the book that Diamond gave to shops for free too, to help them out.
Well, they gave all the books for free.
Yeah.
So all the books were free. So there was a regular version with red lettering. There was a silver foil, and then there was a gold foil. So apparently the gold foil was 1 per shop. The silver was 2 per shop, and then however many, I guess from what I was talking about Oz, whatever you ordered the prior month is what they gave you. So Oz got a few. So I bought the golds. I like the character. I just bought it because it was more for just the support.
Yeah.
And it being a one show, 1 per shop. Why the hell not? At the end of the day, it is what it is. But yeah, I got that. I might send it in to get graded. They are selling on eBay for quite a lot more than what I would.
It's a nice copy.
It's a nice copy. Yeah, it's beautiful. It's
and
they are selling. They're selling for a lot more than what I paid for it, so it's graded.
Good.
So might as well.
Yeah.
And then I don't know. I haven't read enough of these black labels, but I got that Wonder Woman black label issue 3 came out. I didn't know that there was an issue 1 and 2, so I want to track those down. Do we know if you can't read them digitally, right?
I think you can. It was just I think it was just the other Batman book that they didn't let you do.
The Joker book?
No, the other one.
Okay. I have to look for that because I'd rather just read it. I don't want to go looking for it right now, but I'd rather read it digitally. But from when I opened up the book, it looks fantastic. The art a little weird. I don't know who did the art, but yeah, that was it. I didn't buy that many.
Nice.
But yeah, that was it.
Cool. So I upgraded my Amazing Spider-Man 3, as you guys know, like the day after AtCom, and I was like, I got some money to spend. Why not? So I got a nice, beautiful 5.0 from Elite Comics, of course.
Beautiful.
Yeah. So that was my big pickup recently, and I'm eyeing a couple other books. I'd like to get a nice Spidey Annual 1. We sold my 1.8 at the show. I'd like to get a nice copy, maybe like a 6.5.
That was a nice 1.8 though.
It's like the nicest 1.8 I've ever seen. Usually a 1.8's disgusting.
Yeah, even Ali agreed. He
was like, "What's really wrong with that?" He's like, "Is the back cover missing?"
Yeah,
that's funny.
Yeah. What about you, TC?
I did pick up one more book that I needed. I got that. I also got it from Elite. I feel like this is a commercial for Elite at this point.
Of course, we're gonna stamp his logo right on our promo.
Yeah, I got Amazing Spider-Man 27 for a nice price.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm missing, I believe, 11 books now.
You're almost on the single digits.
Yeah, so that's pretty cool.
Nice.
And I picked up some books. I picked up some nice books from Best Comics yesterday. I got a nice appearance of First Granny Goodness and a couple of nice Miles books.
Nice.
You know what I did forget to mention earlier, and I should have probably put this in the Geek Beat, but apparently the 3 Jokers thing is coming out soon, and I'm actually really pumped about that. I haven't been like really excited to read a comic book story in a while, but I don't know why. I'm really excited to read that.
Nice.
Cool.
Yeah.
All right.
Okay. Good conversation, guys.
Excellent.
I'm impressed with us after the week we've had that we were able to do this.
I mean, we had to.
Yeah, I know. We did.
Yeah. And it's that, I will say it's really nice to see that, knock on wood, that everything shipped great. So far everybody's receiving books great. Mm-hmm. And let's hope we get some good feedback, because that would top off this whole experience.
That would, yeah.
So far we're getting some great feedback, but I'd like a little bit more.
Yeah. I mean, listen, we did everything. We packed everything. Like, listen, we packed every book before we even got payment. We probably shouldn't have done that, but I mean, it is what it is. We wanted to make sure everything was good to go. Mm-hmm. So, once we got payment, everything got a label and got sent out. I don't know if we win first prize for fastest shipping out of everyone, but I think we're up there.
I think we did
there for sure.
Because it was funny, because I saw a posting from Kyle yesterday that he was bringing everything to the post office, and I felt like I wanted to say to him, haha, we already shipped ours and people are already starting to receive them, but I wasn't going to be that jerk.
I was blown away that I think one of my packages that went to California literally got there in like
overnight, right?
Yeah, it got there in like less than a day. I was
incredible.
Like, I just shipped that out yesterday.
Yeah, that's crazy.
Yeah, I'm noticing all my California and my Washington books. It took 2 days.
Yeah, it's not bad.
That's crazy. Yeah,
it's good stuff. Shocking.
Though. Yeah. Let's hope USPS is kind to all the packages. That's all I'll say.
Yes, that's big.
But again, but again, thank you to all of the people that bought from us.
Yes.
We, thank you so much. I don't know
how
many of those people listen to our show. Sure. Absolutely, but thank you so much.
Mm-hmm. Well said.
Probably not many.
Probably not many. We're gonna change that though.
Yeah.
Sure.
All right. So is that it? Anyone else have anything else?
I think they're good for the night.
Okay. All right. So remember, until next time.
Don't feed the geeks!